Hey, well, this time for weapons and art, we're going to look at this large sculpture I got to see. It's pretty impressive, and it's of a Native American warrior, but what made this particularly interesting to me was how he's outfitted. And you can see a variety of items on him, and they all don't come from the same culture. It's a cool combination of traditional and what would have counted as modern. So we got his medicine pouch, but that contrasts sharply with the jacket, right? And there's the button. So you're going to kind of see that motif go over and over again. So he's got a revolver. You'll notice that it's not in a holster; it's just kind of jammed in the belt, which, by the way, says U.S. there on the buckle. And I think that's probably just an artistic choice. Looks cooler that way. The saber, meanwhile, does have a sheath. We don't get to see very much of it because of the way it's slung behind him. But together they form the two modern parts of his armaments. And look at the detail on the hand there; pretty impressive. Coincidentally enough, around the same time, I saw a U.S. cavalry saber from the mid-19th century, where the metal scabbard was completely covered in beadwork. So it had obviously been taken by a Native American and then kind of repurposed artistically, if you will. So they were not against taking what worked, and if you found one, then you could incorporate it into your arsenal. And now to the traditional side, we're looking at the shield here, the hide shield. These were often highly decorated and had symbolic meaning, significant meaning. I think this is the best part of the sculpture. I love the leather, the bells, the feathers. And then there's this item here. I'm pretty sure that's a quirt. A quirt was a short whip, but in the Native American context, it was almost kind of a short billy club slash whip. They often had these large blockish handles, like unnecessarily large, and then those would be decorated with tacks. And I think that's what we have there. So just a little detail here. I love seeing the leather, the fake leather, down to the wrinkles and the way the button is straining against it. And speaking of that, you see the same thing here on the moccasins. And those are, of course, traditional. So you have this, I think the whole thing is a study in contrasts, and it's pretty interesting. From the clothing, right, like the moccasins versus the U.S. Army jacket. Same thing with the weapons, right? Saber, revolver versus the actual hide shield. And then the ultimate contrast, that we have a Native American wearing a U.S. Army jacket and having some of the equipment of U.S. forces. So it's an interesting piece of work, well executed. It's called Long Soldier by Dave McGarry. Thanks.